Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I am Andy Murray from WhatCulture.
And don't forget, if you want to listen to the news as a podcast, if you're out and about, you can do so by searching for WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. But coming up today, news on AEW's latest signing.
I'm going to tell you all about Marty Scurll and his absurd new contract.
And get your diaries at the ready, because the next WWE Saudi Arabia date may well have been revealed. This is the news.
But we are going to kick things off with a little Impact Wrestling discussion, because the biggest story coming out of this weekend of wrestling is that Tessa Blanchard has defeated Sami Callihan, friend of the channel Sami Callihan, to become Impact Wrestling World Champion. She did so at the Hard to Kill pay-per-view last night, defeating Callihan in what has to be said was an awesome match after 23 minutes and roughly 50 seconds, following a combination of moves culminating in a DDT. Really good match, really worth checking out. Sami Callihan, for all we do, for all the fun we have with Sami Callihan on this channel, is a perfect dirtbag heel for Tessa to win the title from. But this whole thing kind of compounds what has been a very complicated weekend for Ms. Blanchard. She grabbed the mic and cut a promo after the match for the live crowd, for her fans. Voices of Wrestling captured the clip and shared it on Twitter. They said, I've got the transcription here, this is what Tessa said: "Over the past 8 months, this has been my life. Sami and OVE have been a thorn in my side, and tonight we did it. Nobody in this life is perfect. We're all human, and it doesn't matter what you say about me. It doesn't matter what you call me. I've got one of the strongest minds I've ever known. So whenever you come for me, you come for all these people." This, of course, comes on the back of a controversial weekend in which Tessa was accused of racism and bullying by Allysin Kay, Chelsea Green, La Rosa Negra, a number of others. She was pulled from Impact's post and pre-show media scrums to avoid addressing any of the controversy. And Allysin Kay, I think, who was the first to bring these matters up, sums this up quite nicely with a tweet yesterday saying, "Tessa will go down in history regardless." Correct, but it's up to her whether or not she wants it to be for her talent or if she wants to be the next Moolah. Interesting stuff. Weird weekend for Tessa Blanchard, but she's all over the news. That's why we're talking about it.
Exactly, like you say, a groundbreaking victory for her, winning the Impact World Championship from Sami Callihan.
Hey!
But you can't help but feel the whole weekend has been slightly tainted by the issues all over Twitter. It was a weird one because it was like revelations came out about it, but it was sparked by one of her own tweets.
Yeah.
She tweeted about, let's all be nice to fellow wrestlers, and then everyone sort of came out of the woodwork and said, well, you've not been nice to me throughout your career.
Here's an example.
So it feels like she almost brought this upon herself.
Yeah, it's a really weird one. I've seen a lot of people going, oh, weird timing this, but no, not really. I mean, the thing is, if you make that volume of enemies, and a lot of people came out here, they're going to pick a moment like this to kind of pounce on it, and that tweet kind of set the whole thing off. It set the whole thing snowballing. It's a very tricky situation for Tessa at the moment. Obviously, she's just made history, but it's also an interesting position for Impact as well, because this is a company, I think it's fair to say, while we don't have viewing figures from Access TV because they don't release them, I think it's pretty safe to their audience is pretty much down to the hardcores now, right?
Yeah.
Like
arguably the actual content is far better than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, I mean the show's actually really good. It's just that fewer people are watching it, not necessarily than they were a couple of months ago, because the viewing figures on Pursuit and Twitch were very, very low. More people are probably watching it now, but they're probably down to the hardcores. They need a hook. They need something that they feel makes them unique and reels people in. And intergender wrestling seems to be that hook. Whether or not it's successful is up for you guys to debate just now, but time will tell. It'll come out in the wash. It'll see how it does. But I'm interested to see how the Tessa controversy maybe hurts them in the aftermath, if it does hurt them at all. Either way, it's a big win for her. It's a big night for Impact Wrestling. It's a bold booking decision and a very interesting situation to follow going forward.
Completely, and I think you're right in terms of what Allysin Kay said, of regardless of what's gone on before, she is now Impact World Champion, and the way she carries herself going forward is the thing that's going to sort of inform her legacy.
Exactly, and we should...
Congratulations.
Yeah, we should wrap this whole thing up by saying that Tessa Blanchard is, like, completely removed from everything else, is a phenomenal professional wrestler.
Exactly. Speaking of Impact Wrestling and former world champions, Brian Cage may well have signed a multi-year contract with AEW. This is according to a new report from SoCal Uncensored, not the group are already in AEW, the website. With Cage's potential start date not being revealed yet, but the source is claiming it will be soon. Apparently, Brian Cage has been working as a free agent from the expiration of his Impact contract. He fought at the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, wrestling Rob Van Dam to a no contest, so that could well be his final bout for the company. He had offers from Impact and Ring of Honor, with Ring of Honor offering the highest dollar amount. But ultimately, Cage joined AEW, because arguably they could probably give him the most exposure. Having said all that, yet again, another news story has to come with a caveat here. Melissa Santos, his wife, tweeted when this came out from SoCal Uncensored, I almost said SCU then, that really confused things, saying, how can you confirm something that isn't true? I'm his wife, and I can confirm he hasn't signed on any dotted line. So it's all a bit up in the air, but it probably is going to be announced officially in the next day or two. Brian Cage going to AEW, good signing.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think the Melissa Santos thing as well. I mean, if AEW want to keep it under wraps, you know, she's not exactly, or Cage wants to keep it under wraps, she's not exactly going to come out and go, yeah, she's signed, way, all this stuff. Of course they're going to deny it. Interesting to see what comes of that. Really good signing. I think if there's one thing the AEW roster does lack, it's size. You got Wardlow and Hager, but they're playing bodyguards at the moment. They're not active competitors right now. They're NPCs. So Cage will be a big, beefy boy on a wrestler that on a roster that currently has less beef than a vegan buffet. I'm looking forward to seeing him come in potentially and seeing what he can do. He'll stand out immediately, although he does work a very different style to most wrestling big man. He's obviously extremely strong and he can do all the imposing power stuff and he looks like $1 million, but he can also do the flippy doos. He's a very athletically talented man. He's a very, very well-rounded and skilled competitor. This is a really cool stage and a really cool opportunity and a really cool thing in general.
And it's fascinating now because, you know, we've seen obviously people leave other promotions and join AEW, but it'd be interesting now they've sort of set themselves out and been established rather than when, say, Moxley had turned up or whatever. Now they're an established weekly TV show, how they introduce someone like Brian Cage. I'd have him fight Marco Stunt straight away.
Oh, God. I could use him as a toothpick or a shoelace. Let's move things along. Let's talk about a guy who's staying put. Marty Scurll. We've spoken a lot about him over the past few months. Me and Gareth spoke about him 2 days ago on this very channel, but his future has now been ironed down. He has signed a new deal with Ring of Honor. And boy, it's mental.
Yeah.
According to PW Insider, not only has Marty signed what is believed to be a multi-year deal with the company, he's going to be their head booker. Marty Scurll is going to book Ring of Honor. That ends the tenure of Hunter Delirious Johnston, who had held the position for roughly 10 years, taking over from Adam Pearce. On top of this, Dave Meltzer says this is the largest contract in Ring of Honor history. And on top of that, Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet says that Marty's role will also be to forge improve the working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, to improve the working relationship with the NWA, who, by the way, Marty will still be allowed to work for, and also to potentially establish a working relationship with AEW. So a lot of moving parts here, and it comes at a good time for Ring of Honor, given that every single metric available to us shows us that company's in decline. So, good move.
Yeah, I think it's arguably the best move for everyone. As much as I would love to have seen Marty Scurll jump to AEW, arguably this is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
For fans of Ring of Honor who want it to be re-established, I think Marty Scurll, you couldn't afford to lose a talent like him. And the fact that they need to re-establish that relationship that they did have with New Japan and establish a new one with AEW, at the end of the day, All Elite Wrestling sort of piggybacked off Ring of Honor initially, so you could argue that they slightly owe them one, but regardless of whether or not you think that, if you want to have someone to sort of get pally with AEW, best person is Marty Scurll.
One of their mates, right? One of their mates. And I hope he got paid as well. If it's the largest contract in Ring of Honor history, he clearly did. We heard that report the other day of he was going to get main roster money, WWE style, for like 40 days a year. Hey, good job, Marty.
Yeah.
You did good.
Congratulations. Great news. Lovely bloke as well. Called me a knobhead once, but that was in a promo, so it's fine.
Fair.
I'll allow it. And yeah, exactly. I think it's a fair assessment, if anything. But yeah, really, really exciting time. I can't imagine what that must be like. Like, you've signed a new contract and you're booking everything.
Yeah.
How you fight the urge to be like, so I win again, and then
Yeah.
I win, and oh, that title and that title and that title.
It's got pencil now for baby.
Right, let's move on to the final news story of the day. And I know what you're thinking. When's the next bloody Saudi Arabia event? God, it's been ages. I've really missed WWE and Saudi Arabia. It seems like it comes around quicker every 6 months. Well, according to PW Insider, the next WWE Saudi Arabia event is going to go down on the 20th of February, as will soon be confirmed by an official announcement. However, conflicting reports from the Wrestling Observer say it's going to actually happen a week later, the 27th of February. Yes, if you double check your diaries, that means both of these are Thursday nights. And what could possibly go wrong with hosting a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia and then having, I don't know, your biggest TV show the next night? So, good luck everyone on SmackDown again. Hope that keep the engine running on the plane. It's probably easiest. Elimination Chamber, by the way, in case you're wondering if it sort of messes things up, that doesn't go down until the 8th of March, so it could sort of be dropped in. It would probably suggest that the 20th might make more sense. Then you have a couple of weeks to set up Elimination Chamber, but who knows? Basically, the next Saudi Arabia show, the sort of dumpster fire on the road to WrestleMania that you drive past and go, bloody hell, that looks a mess. Yeah, that's going to go down late February.
Cool. That's all I have to say about this pay-per-view.
I just hate it. I hate it. It ruins like booking and things like that. And some wrestlers won't go, and some wrestlers really don't want to go. And
It'll make them a lot of money, though, doesn't it?
Put it this way. Just think. In 2 months' time, we'll be in March. We'll be nearly at WrestleMania, and we'll have to not think about Saudi Arabia for a long while. It's the best thing I can say about that.
Stupid ass shows.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, Johnny Stickfigure starts us off today talking about Taylor Bate and Jordan Devlin. What a match they had last night at Takeover.
Match.
If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. Trust me,
Go
it's
out your
worth
way.
it.
It's
Johnny says, anyway, what is the future for Taylor Bate and Jordan Devlin? Bate seems to have outgrown the brand, and Devlin appears stuck as the second best heel on the show without much direction.
Yeah, these fellas, it's a weird situation because they're both signed by WWE, so they're both in relatively good positions, like financially and so forth, but they're on a brand that a lot of people, unfortunately, just aren't paying attention to. So they're in very difficult positions. For me, if I had any say in this matter whatsoever, I would hoy both of them on the main NXT product because I think they're both phenomenal. Jordan Devlin, I think, might be the most underrated wrestler in the world, purely because there's so few people are watching this show compared to who are watching other WWE properties, and he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. So yeah, I would put them both on NXT. I think they've both outgrown NXT UK. They've just had a main event where they made Walter, who 2 years ago was one of the most special wrestlers on the planet, look like an absolute dummy, just selling for endless periods against a mid-carder and Joe Coffey. Yeah, do that, please. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd say move them up to NXT proper as well, to be honest, because that, just off the back of that showcase, I mean, we all know how good they are, and I know Bate has had the odd appearance in NXT, but I think they just need to be full-time moved up there now because they're so good. You've got Pete Dunne there, have them sort of following in his footsteps. Ross Miller, second question of the day, talking about the Royal Rumble. He says, Brock enters 1, Kane enters 2. Kane as in Velasquez, not Big Red Machine Kane.
Not mere Glenn.
Kane and Brock immediately double eliminate each other, trolling everyone. Brock match set up for Mania. Brock gets paid all the money for an entrance and 8 seconds of work. And the Rumble basically starts at 3. Thoughts?
That's the most Brock thing of all time, isn't it? Turn up for 8 seconds of work. Yeah, no, I can absolutely see that happening. In fact, like, I've fantasy booked all these stupid scenarios about Brock going bell to bell and all this nonsense in my head. Brock's not working for an hour, Andy Murray, you moron. He's going to last 10 seconds. That's exactly what's going to happen. I love it. You've nailed it.
Just to love that you did the Drew Carey elimination.
No.
I think that's definitely a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen. As much as I want the, Brock Kane to not to dominate the Royal Rumble so much, and I do sense that if anyone's going to eliminate Brock Lesnar, it is going to be Cain Velasquez, maybe coming out quite late on when Brock thinks he's got this match sort of won. But there's a tiny bit of me, and it's a bit of me that died a little bit late last year, if I'm honest, that always goes, so you're telling me there's a chance? Where you just have guys that you think maybe, just maybe, these people could eliminate Brock Lesnar and set up an unexpected match at WrestleMania. Your Matt Riddles, your Drew McIntyres, your Keith Lees even. There's a possibility. It's probably going to be Cain Velasquez. There's a chance.
Yeah.
It's going to be really disappointing, isn't it? Ujwal Bahare. I've been practicing that, and I don't know if it's right, but I do hope I got it as close as I can.
Let us know.
Thank you for your Twitter question. Final one today. He says, Walter with just his entrance can sell out any arena and gives the feel of a real fight. Which other wrestler's entrance can match that aura of Walter's entrance other than Undertaker, obviously, currently?
Yeah, Walter's entrance is pretty damn awesome, isn't it? Aleister Black, certainly in NXT, it's kind of worn off a little bit purely because we see it like every other week now. But like, it's just phenomenal. I remember his debut match, and he's coming out of this coffin with this awesome, just pounding music, evil stuff. Yeah, I think that's really like a top one for me. Okada, I think, is another one. A guy who just carries a presence, carries an aura. He comes out, he's got that kind of. It's kind of like half aloof but really arrogant at the same time expression on his face with the money coming down. That's another one for me. Kenny Omega maybe had it as well, but you know, he's been kind of diminished by Dynamite a little bit as well.
Yeah, I'd say not necessarily quite on the same level, but sort of entrances you want to be there and want to have said you've seen. Velveteen Dream.
Yes.
Demon Balor.
Yes.
And Adam Cole with the Undisputed Era.
Yes.
Like, everyone wants to be there and do the boom, so.
Boom, all that stuff, yeah.
And Titus Worldwide.
Obviously.
Right, well, let's move on to today's and finally, just to sort of recap, basically, of what happened last week. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who joined us on Friday night and donated. We did a live stream for the Australian Red Cross, of course, to deal with all those horrific issues with the wildfires over in Australia. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us, who donated. I do believe the link to donations is still there. Streamlabs, something or other. We'll put the link in the description so you can transfer stuff over. Over £1,000, I think we made on Friday night. So thank you so much for making us watch some truly god-awful wrestling.
We watched some pap. I was only there for an hour, but we did watch some pap. But, you know, all for a really good cause. Let's keep this thing rolling. Let's see if we can get a few more donations through the net if you can afford to do so.
Highlight for me, I think it was Adam Nicholas had never seen Sharmell versus Jenna Maraska in TNA, and showing him that and going, "Here, mate, watch this offense here from Jenna from Survivor." If you haven't watched it, don't. Go and watch Tyler Beard versus Jordan Devlin. It's a much better use of your time, but still, thank you so much.
Actually, watch Jenna Maraska first and then watch Beard versus Devlin.
Yeah. Right, thank you so much for your donations. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's a bit where she gets her leg sweep, hits the mat and dies. Basically, she just doesn't move for about 5 minutes. And there's one where Kong, I think, who is it? Someone gets knocked off. Someone gets knocked off the top rope.
It's Kong, isn't it?
Kong's meant to catch them and just goes,
nah, don't fancy that.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. For daily wrestling podcasts, myself and the Dandy Boys will be previewing Monday Night Raw a little bit later on today. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. And watch there, follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Haystacks Calhoun, the greatest British wrestler. Is he British? Of all time.
Facts. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. As I said, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
I don't know if he's British. I just know he's a fat lad.
Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, here to let you know we want your live event videos, whether that be something that happened after the cameras stopped rolling, or your reaction to something amazing that went down at the show you were at. Stuff like this.
One of the other sweetest things I've ever seen was just recently when we saw Roman Reigns kick the shit out of cancer and come back on Monday Night Raw.
So make sure you send them to us in all the usual ways. You can tweet them at us, you can send them to us on Facebook, you can email them to us. Hell, if it's your sort of thing, you can stick them on a memory stick and post them to What Culture. But the one thing you need to remember is good, bad. Thanks for watching. Bye.